Barrows from The Athletic. Of course, he writes about the 49ers. He joins us right now on the Nick Cattle Show. Matt, thank you for the time. There have been conflicting reports about Deshaun Watson out there sitting down with the Niners and interest from the Niners. What are you hearing about Watson in San Francisco?
I'm hearing that that's not a thing. Yeah, I think it's clear that the 49ers have gone full on with Trey Lance this year, and so that's what their mode is. So I don't know where that came from. It was quickly discredited, I think, from multiple sources. So I don't see that happening. The 49ers have all sorts of complicated quarterback things going on right now. I don't think that this is going to be added to that mix.
Yeah, complicated quarterback things is absolutely a thing right now for them. Matt, do you think that the Niners will wait until after a Watson deal is done to deal Jimmy G?
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to look that way. It looks as if the Colts are the only real suitor. So the Deshaun Watson decision will possibly create another one, which would kind of goose things. But, I mean, it's looking more and more as if the 49ers will have to do some other sort of roster maneuvers, hashing out new contracts with guys, restructuring Eric Armstead or George Kittle, something like that, in order to get under the salary cap limit. And then they'll hang on to Garoppolo as the new league year begins, and then trade him at some other point with the draft, and then early July when that shoulder is healed, being the likeliest opportunity. So I think they've got a plan B. I think obviously they'd like to get this done. Frees up a lot of salary cap space. Allows them to be a little bit more aggressive in free agency. It announces to the world that Lance is the starter, which I think they want to do. But it takes two to tango, and right now I don't think that they're getting a lot of ardent attention from any other teams because those teams know the salary cap straits that the 49ers are in right now.
Right.
And they're going to use that leverage to their advantage.
Matt Barrows with us from The Athletic, talking Niners free agency. One last one for you, Matt, about Jimmy G. Talking about the return, what do you expect to be the return for him when they do eventually trade him out of San Francisco?
Yeah, I've been saying for months and months, I think that the over-under is a third. And I'm sticking to my guns on that. Things can change. If he does stay on the 49ers roster, for instance, throughout the spring, and some team has an injury, all of a sudden Jimmy G becomes much more valuable. And, that's sort of what the 49ers would be betting on. I think it gets done sooner rather than later. If the Colts, that seems to be the likeliest suitor for Jimmy Garoppolo. If they really want him, they want him in the building. They want him meeting teammates. They want him meeting coaches. They want him learning the offense, even though he can't throw until late June, early July. You would think that they would want that deal done. They would want it settled. So, to me, it's starting to become a game of chicken between Chris Ballard and John Lynch. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to sort of capitulate? And either the Colts giving the 49ers a little bit more than they want to give, or vice versa. So that may be where things stand right now.
Matt, did you like the Trevarius Ward signing last night?
Yeah, I mean, he's 25 years old and getting better. Who doesn't like that? So they've got a really young cornerback core right now. Their two would-be starters are 25, and they've got Ambry Thomas as the third guy. He's 22. So that's a nice mix. That's a nice mix for the future. And I think the takeaway with Charvarius Ward, is that he's getting better. He's gotten better every season. Sort of a late bloomer. Didn't play a lot of football as a kid. Did a little bit of community college. Went to Middle Tennessee State. Has been getting bigger and more confident as he's been in the NFL. So I think that's what the 49ers saw. They saw a young guy who's probably just in the midst of his ascent in this league.
How do they deploy that talent in the secondary now, Matt?
Well, they still have a bit of a hole at strong safety, and I think it'll be a combination of Tarvarius Moore and Talanoa Hufanga there. But they've got the veteran free safety in Jimmy Ward, and then one of those two other guys that I just mentioned. And then with those cornerbacks, like I said, I think it's going to end up being Mosley and Ward who are the starting cornerbacks. And then my guess is that on nickel downs, which ends up being 75% of the season these days, it would be a scenario where Ambry Thomas comes off the bench, and he also plays on the outside, and that bumps Emmanuel Mosley to that nickel spot, and that's something he's done off and on over the past 3 years. So that's probably what's going to happen. They've got one other free agent, K'Wan Williams, who isn't going to get a lot of demand on the market. He could come back, and if he does, he'd be the easy fit as that nickel cornerback too.
Got about a minute left, Matt. Of course, I got to ask you about Laken Tomlinson and DJ Jones, their departure from the Niners. Is it all on Banks and Kinlaw now to step up?
Yeah, I mean that's what the 49ers want to see. They want to see these young draft picks step into these spots. And frankly, neither has really shown very much early in his career. So it's a bit of projection. It's a little bit of a leap of faith. I thought that they would put up more of a fight for Tomlinson. They felt like that. I think it was around $13.5 million a year for him was too high, and that is high for a guard. That's exactly what they're paying for Tarvarius Moore, and so their argument is going to be that, well, we find that cornerback to be the greater position of value. I might argue that when you're kind of bringing in a new, young quarterback, inexperienced quarterback in Trey Lance, you want all the protection up front, all the veteran protection up front you can get. And that should have increased Laken Tomlinson's value as well. They're probably not done. They could bring in more guards, more protection, but right now that seems like a big gap because it's not just left guard. They also have a hole at right guard. So two key spots protecting your young quarterback are now up for grabs.
Great stuff, Matt. I appreciate your time. Let's do this again soon.
Okay, sounds good. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. There goes Matt Barrows from The Athletic talking about the 49ers. We do have something to add on to